Well, hey there, Leslie Sansone Williams, coming to you today from the soon to launch Paralegal Inner Circle class and the Cover Letter Secrets class, as well as the entry level Paralegal Interview class. Just FYI, both the Paralegal Inner Circle class and the Cover Letter Secrets class are launching next Wednesday, September 15th. So stay tuned for that. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a link in the description box. There's usually a little arrow by the title. Click on that. You'll see all these links in there. Some freebies are in there. And on Facebook, if you're watching there, scroll through the feed and you will see the link for the Paralegal Inner Circle class. I will post a link to the Cover Letter Secrets class later today for you, okay? Excuse me. So a question on the YouTube channel about paralegal versus personal assistant, and why does an attorney do this? Take someone who wants a paralegal job and then turns them into a personal assistant. Usually it's an attorney who is micromanaging. If that's all they're having you do, they're micromanaging the work. They're doing the work themselves and they're using you for other things. What are those other things? It could be just formatting the documents, answering phones, running errands for office supplies or ordering office supplies online, going to the dry cleaners, running them somewhere. It could be all of those things and more, okay? And why does that happen? Well, because the attorney doesn't know how to use a paralegal. But the bigger question above that is, why isn't the attorney, number one, training that person? Well, the main reason for that is the attorney's not a trainer. They didn't go into law to be a teacher. They went into it to make money. And initially, you know, there's a saying with lawyers that I love the law. So they went into it because they love the study of law. And a side thing that they have to do is deal with staff and the clients in order to make any money to support themselves and their family. And that may be something that they don't like dealing with. I've heard that from so many attorneys. So instead of hiring a seasoned veteran paralegal, they will hire at a lower hourly rate, but that's a good thing to get your foot in the door. And the downside to that is they don't provide training. That's why I put together the Paralegal Inner Circle class, because you have to know how to manage your work. And unfortunately, that's not taught in a lot of the, not all, but a lot of the 2-year programs are the certificate programs. And when you come into this field with none, you don't have a certificate or the 2-year program, well, it's not going to be harder, because the people that attended those, for the most part, weren't taught how to work in a practical way. So why is the attorney not training? They don't have the time. They're working the cases. If they don't work the cases, they don't bring in money. And so it's a real dilemma for attorneys who are working on their own, they're sole practitioners, or it's a very small law firm. There's no time for the other paralegals, if there are any on board, to train the new person. There just isn't. That paralegal may put up with it for 2 to 4 weeks and then they're done, because they have deadlines that they have to meet. They have expectations from the attorneys that those cases have to be moved along, and that's a dilemma for the newbie. But it isn't a dilemma when you learn all you can before you go into this career ahead of time. When you assume that there's training, that's what an assumption is. That's a guesstimate. That's a wrong analysis. That's an incorrect analysis, okay? So the attorney, on the other hand, doesn't matter whether they're employing total novices or have a bunch of veteran paralegals on board. It's not that the veteran paralegals are allowed to fly, or they shouldn't be. The attorney's license is on the line in how everything is handled. We're not licensed in the United States, so we don't have the license on the line, but we have our reputation on the line, and how we as seasoned veteran paralegals handle everything and how we perform. The attorney has a license on the line. If they neglect their cases, if they do some shoddy things in how they work with a client, they're going to be suspended, fined, disbarred. So this is serious business for all of us. And it's serious once you understand that the attorney is worried about this. When they were sworn in, when they became an official attorney, were admitted to the state, the bar, wherever they live, they became an officer of the court, and that's a lot of responsibility. So that's why when you go in, if you think you're going to be allowed to fly as a paralegal, you will never be, you shouldn't be allowed to fly. The attorney should be on top of everything, should have weekly team meetings, you know. And I saw the good side of that, and I saw the bad side of attorneys neglecting their cases, and I carried the burden. I shouldered that responsibility for the attorney. That's not how it should work. It should be a team effort. That's why you will see what you will call micromanaging, but the attorney's license is always on the line. So how do you avoid, can you fix this? Well, you can fix it by gaining more knowledge. If you're in a law firm like that, you have to gain more knowledge so that that trust builds. You have to proofread the documents if you're being assigned that, so that errors do not float through into the court system. And it could mean a real problem for the attorney. Proofreading is important. So I talk about this in my book, Legal Break-In. That's step 1 for new paralegals. You have to have these, I call them office skills, but in the book I call them foundation skills. All of that builds trust with the attorney. If you go in as a new person and you haven't figured out what you'll be doing ahead of time, and you're depending on training, that's not going to happen usually. Not for long term. It won't. So you have to learn ahead of time. Now, as far as the culture of the law firm and understanding how they operate, how the attorney operates, those are questions for the interview. You know, if you're already in a law firm, but you know, I'm probably not going to stay, that's how it was for me in the first job. I knew that I would try to hit that 1-year mark, but I hit the 7-month mark. And then, but I was tracking everything I learned how to do as a legal receptionist, legal secretary in a notebook. And I still use those things. You can use your computer, you can use your phone, but what do you know how to do? You have to be able to talk about that and not just formatting documents, running errands, right? That's not what you had envisioned doing as a paralegal. So in order to avoid being in that situation, you have to ask questions in the interview. You will learn that. That's one module with many videos in the Paralegal Inner Circle class. So I would implore you to take that. If all you think you need help with is the interview, there's a separate entry-level paralegal interview class all by itself, which is taken from the main Paralegal Inner Circle class. You can take that all by itself. You can take the Cover Letter Secrets class, which is not in my mega class, my Inner Circle class. You can take that by itself, but you need all those puzzle pieces in order to help the attorney, help yourself, help the attorney. That's what that big class is for, the Inner Circle class, okay? So the questions you ask will give you that insight. They will ask you questions. We go over that in the interview module. But you need to ask questions. You cannot sit there assuming. You cannot sit there not asking questions. I've done it and I didn't get the job. They want to know that you're going to be proactive in seeking out answers. Now, if a person that you're working with is way over the top with how they react to things, and they overreact, and you see that as something that's happening regularly. That's not something, even I as a veteran, I don't tolerate any of that. I didn't tolerate it as a beginner. I knew, and I did not get yelled at in the first law firm. I got yelled at in the second, and I did not stay. None of that is worth it to me. I'm not a punching bag. I'm not the whipping post, okay? And that comes from understanding who you are and what you are worthy of, the type of treatment you're worthy of, okay? So, no, do I think anybody should react that way to their staff? Not on your life. Not on your life. So, think about what can you do to bring value to your employer, but ultimately it brings value to you, because all those things that you push yourself to learn how to do that assist the attorney will bring you more dollars. And how is that going to happen? Well, because when you talk about what you know how to do in your next interview, then you're going to ask for more money. But the more money doesn't come unless you have something to trade on. It's not from the degree or from the certificate or from past degrees or whatever it is that you're banking on. It is that you know how to help the attorney, always. And when you don't, it can cause a whole host of problems for you. So I want you to remember this going forward. You don't go into different areas of law not studying a lot beforehand, not what the attorneys do, because you're not that. What does the paralegal do in that area of law? If you've watched my videos, you're hearing me say this over and over again. Why? Because I want it to sink in very deeply. Okay, so that being said, if more questions were raised for you, ask them in the comments, and we'll see if we can do a video about it. I will not talk about the questions that you were going to ask the attorney. That's in the class, okay? There are not only, there's several there's some videos in the, well, gosh, I think there are something like 9 to 11 videos in the interview module within the Paralegal Inner Circle class. So that covers so much. What do? You write those questions down, you take them with you that you're going to ask to the interview. But what's just as important is knowing how you're going to help that attorney, and you have to communicate that in the cover letter. And I go over that in that class, which is separate. Okay, it's a separate standalone class. It's not included in the Paralegal Inner Circle class, okay? And it's nice to have them separated out, and you can focus on one or the other or both. So have a great day today. Any questions, comments, ask them below. Be brave, ask them, or just say hi. I love hearing from you. On the Facebook page, Paralegal Coffee Talk, or on the YouTube channel, Paralegal Career Mastermind. Look, for you guys on YouTube, look in the description area. There is the Paralegal Career Secrets Black Book, which is no charge right now, soon to be disappearing because it's going to be published on Amazon, and the Paralegal Resources Hub. You need to go through all those videos in the hub and look at the PDFs that are in there for you, okay? That's no charge. So in the description box, look at that on YouTube. If you're on the Facebook page, scroll through the feed and you will see those, okay? You have to sign up. That's how my platform works, where I hold them and house those documents. And then come in and you can download the PDFs, you can watch the videos. always take notes while you're watching the videos of how you should do things, okay? Reminders, and categorize your notes into job hunt, interview. If you take my class and you enroll next week, then take notes while you're watching those videos. The class will be open for 6 months. It doesn't take you that long to go through 30 plus videos. You can binge watch, take notes, and you're done. You could be done in a month and be on your way to a paralegal career, or be more confident as you go towards it, okay? So have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.